What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another stream, y'all. Let me finish getting set up here. But hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone is having a beautiful morning here. Let me grab out my phone so I can make sure everything is running good. I do want to check a scene before we get started, y'all. Perfect. You know what? That's actually lined up pretty well. I was wanting to line up the chat. Actually, you know what? We might need to edit it just a little bit. But anyways, guys, what's up? What's up, Tabletop? Good to see you, dude. Wondering if you should worry about severe weather this weekend. Give me 1 minute. I'll look. I just need to finish getting this all set up here. I'm just trying to make it look better because gotta have this panel. I feel like this is probably gonna use this panel quite a bit here today. That way you guys can kind of see everything at once. But anyways, all right. Well, let's go ahead and dive on into it here. So, yeah, so today we do have a pretty big day. We were talking a lot about this here yesterday, with the severe weather risk that we have going on here. So for today, we do have a level 2 slight risk here for portions of eastern Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama here. Now, for you tomorrow, we do not have a risk here for you. Yeah, Tabletop, you're good, dude. There's no active risk here from the SPC, so you're good. But anyway, so for today, we do actually have a 5% tornado threat here. Matter of fact, we even have a tornado warning going on right now. This is actually here in Mississippi. Actually, we had some reports of wind damage here a little bit ago as well. Out there by Laurel. Let's see. Had what? Reported roof damage at a business on Highway 15 North in North Laurel. So that's in southern Mississippi. Got some reports of damage out there. But anyways, we do have an active tornado warning going on right now out here in Mississippi for DeSoto, Quitman, Crandall, and Snell. What's up, Freeze Thinking? Good to see ya. Welcome. Here, let me check my scene here and see if it looks good. There we go. All right. But anyway, so yeah, we do have ourselves a 5% tornado risk here for today. So we have Louisiana here. We have Mississippi, Alabama included here. So a big old 5% chance. So we could have a couple of tornadoes out here today. And of course, the green area, this is also a tornado threat, which extends all the way up into like Huntsville, Alabama, goes up there towards Tennessee. So yeah, we do have ourselves a pretty decent tornado threat here for today. So a couple of tornadoes will be quite possible. Now, with the damaging wind threat, we do have ourselves a 15% risk here for damaging winds. Now, today we're mostly going to be seeing some damaging wind gusts here, kind of between the realm of 60, maybe 70 mile an hour wind gusts, in some instances could be possible. Right now, there is no significant wind gusts. There is no significant wind gust risk here for today from the SPC, so we're not expecting anything above 70 today. But we could definitely have still some widespread damaging winds here, with these storms here that kind of rolls, later on throughout the day. And then, of course, lastly, we do have ourselves actually now a 15% hail threat here from the SPC here. You can actually see like central Louisiana. This includes Shreveport, actually. Shreveport, we have Leesville. And, of course, we have eastern Texas here, north of Houston. Also in a 15% hail risk here too. So today we could see some hail between 1 and 2 inches in diameter here. So we'll be sure to look out for that. But anyways, if you guys are just tuning in, first of all, welcome. It's good to see you guys here. We do have an active tornado warning here in effect. This is actually here in eastern Mississippi. In which this includes Quitman. Here, let's hop back over here. This includes Quitman. Actually, they just de-extended it for Quitman, but it still includes Snell, which is now north of Crandall. Crandall, I think that's how you say it. Here, let's look at the text here. It says moving northeast at 30 miles an hour, radar indicated rotation. What about velocity? Here, let's see. Okay. Yeah, you can kind of see where that rotation was a little bit ago out there, kind of by DeSoto. Let's see. Is there a closer radar? Unfortunately, it's kind of in a bad radar zone. It's kind of like right between all these main radars here. So make it a little bit more tricky. Good morning, Robin. Good to see you. Let's see here. See, hi Andrew, how are you doing today? I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Yeah, we got a pretty busy day today. Tracking the weather, so you're probably going to see us a lot today. This is kind of more of a an update stream. I think a lot of the severe weather is going to be happening tonight, or kind of this evening, I should say. So we'll be probably popping in and out here a couple times per for today. But I really wanted to go live here right now with you guys to kind of show you what the system's doing right now, kind of where we're at with everything. That way you guys can kind of see what's going on. So if we hop over to infrared here, you can see kind of right now where the convection's at. So you can see that we have a lot of the storm activity kind of right in here. Right now it's popping off in southern Mississippi, as well as going into Alabama right now. But as the day progresses, the coverage will increase. Which we'll hop to models here in 1 second. What's up, Viper? Good to see you. I say good morning. I'm out chasing myself, so we shall see what happens. Absolutely. Be careful out there, dude. Absolutely. I hope you catch some cool stuff, dude. I don't know what's going on with my seeds here. Here we go. We'll hop over there. That's what I wanted to go to. There we go. But anyways, be careful, dude. I hope you stay safe out there. All right, so let's hop over to the models here. Let's look at the HRRR here. We'll pop up the. I think I'm going to use the 12 UTC. What's up, Green? Good to see you. Will it be bad in Mississippi? So Mississippi is under a pretty decent risk here, here for today. Mississippi here. Before we get in the models, I'll show you real quickly. So we do have a level 2 threat for severe weather for central and southern Mississippi. So it really depends on where you're at. Like, say if you're up north towards like Hernando, those areas are actually just in a general thunderstorm risk. For a lot of central and southern Mississippi, that's where the main risk is for today, in which we do have the 5% chance for tornadoes in the brown here. Damaging winds, we have a 15% chance out here for damaging wind gusts, and of course hail, we do have that 5% chance. So yeah, we definitely do need you to be actively weather aware for today. We do need you to be watching out for it, because it'll definitely be a little bit of a concern for you guys out there. Viper says always, we'll stay safe. Glad to hear it, dude. Yeah, just storm chasing can be a little risky, but just be careful out there. All right, let's see here. We're gonna bring up our models now. So let's see. I'm still kind of getting used to how this whole thing works here. I think they redid this program I use here. It looks a lot different than it once did. How do I get back to the? Hold on a minute, y'all. I'm like, oh, there we go. It took me a minute. I'm like, dude. All right, well, let's bring up the HRRR. We'll pull up the precipitation here. So we'll do precip type so we can kind of see what's going on up north too. So back over at 12 UTC. So you can kind of see here, by the way, the times in the bottom left here, you guys can see right where my cursor's at. So there's 3 p.m. Eastern time at this particular frame. So we go back in time a little bit. So you can see we have a little bit of storm activity going on here now. We have a little bit of thunderstorm activity. We're going to continue to have a lot of moisture and a lot of instability present over the south. And you can kind of see as we approach into later this evening and even overnight into tomorrow, how we do have this other line that kind of pushes through. So, I mean, it's going to be kind of a continuous threat between now and throughout even tomorrow morning. This is going to be a little bit of a nocturnal threat here as well. So then we work our way over here into tomorrow evening. You can kind of see that the line's still there. At this point in time, we start to lose a lot of instability. A lot of the fuel in the atmosphere starts to deplete. You can actually see that overlay right here. So you can see that we really start to thin out on the instability here for tomorrow. But, I mean, for today, you can see that we have plenty enough fuel for these storms here overall. And of course, as we work way further down in time, it just kind of thins out a bit here, which will be good. But between today and tomorrow, we do actually have a little bit of a severe weather threat here. I mean, today obviously we do have a pretty good threat for severe weather, but yeah, tomorrow it'll actually continue as well. Which if I hop you guys back over here, you guys can see here tomorrow we do have this big marginal risk here. That level 1 severe weather threat, which extends all the way up into Virginia, actually, up there, kind of by Blacksburg area. So level 1 threat for there tomorrow, but that goes through North Carolina, South Carolina, Eastern Tennessee. Of course, we have Georgia, Alabama, bits of Florida here. And of course, we do have ourselves, let's see here. We do have ourselves Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana there kind of included as well. So gotta look out there for that. Now tomorrow they actually do have a little 2% chance for tornadoes here for South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and Alabama. This does include the Birmingham area, Atlanta, Georgia area. So tomorrow, Asheville, North Carolina. So tomorrow we could definitely be dealing with a couple more tornadoes here. Damaging wind threat extends as well. Some gusts upwards of 60 miles an hour possible. There is no hail threat tomorrow, though, so we're looking pretty good with the hail tomorrow. Then day 3, as of right now, there's no active risks for anything. So definitely we'll definitely be monitoring the weather here over the next couple of days here. But by far today is the day that we really need to be actively weather aware. All right, well, let's hop back over the radar here, guys. We actually have an active tornado warning right now. This is for Mississippi. This is for Snell, which is on the southeastern, kind of east-central side of the state of Mississippi. It's right on the border between Alabama and Mississippi. So this is an active tornado warning here in effect. We still got ourselves, in effect until 10:30 a.m. Central. So we have about, 17 minutes before the warning expires. So we got about 17 minutes left before that expires, so just make sure you guys are in your shelter. If you know anybody out by Snell, which is here in Mississippi, be sure to let them know. Give them a heads up. Be like, hey, yo, we got a tornado warning here. You better be in your shelter, and make sure that they do take that seriously because confirmed or not, still need to treat it the exact same here. So unfortunately, like I was saying a minute ago, the radar. It's kind of in a bad spot, or really the storm's in a bad spot from the radar. You can kind of see we have a radar site right here where my cursor is. We have another radar site down here. We have one over here, and we have one up here. And of course, the storm is right in the middle of all of those, so it makes it a little bit tricky. A little bit tricky to see really what's going on in the lower levels, because what we're scanning here is at 6,000 feet, which is, not really that high, but it's high enough where a lot of things can change between there and the surface. So, nothing on CC right now, though. There's no debris signatures, so that's telling me as of right now, radar doesn't see a tornado. But, with that rotation, there certainly could be one. Doesn't mean 100% there will be, but you don't want to take that chance. You want to be in your safe spot regardless. But and all the way, by the way, guys, if y'all have any questions throughout the stream, if there's a specific area that you want me to look at or whatever, zip code wise, don't hesitate, man. I'm here for you guys. I want to make sure you guys are, staying weather aware. You guys are going to be staying safe out there. That's the whole point of the streams here is just to, keep you guys informed and all that stuff. We just want you guys to be safe out there. But anyways, that's the only tornado warning that we have right now. Looking at the radar, you can see there's a lot of, just really kind of a lot of garbage convection right now. Just a lot of, thunderstorms, not necessarily severe per se, but like we mentioned in the models and stuff, as we progress away later on throughout the evening and stuff, then, that'll actually increase here. Let me actually hop back to the radar here. Let's see. You think your area is good? Yeah, this is for the South. So this is mostly today for Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, a little bit of extreme southern Arkansas. Is also included in the risk here. That's where today's main risk is, and which you can actually see here. The dark green and the yellow makes up the severe risk area for today. So basically you have a scale on the severe weather scale that goes from 1 to 5. Okay. So 5 being the greatest probability for severe weather, the heaviest severe weather potential, and then of course you have the level 1, which is the lowest severe potential, the lowest severity. Which if you're on the scale, you're in that risk area. But you can see though, the level 1's across the dark green. The light green is just a general thunderstorm risk saying, hey, couple thunderstorms possible, not expecting anything severe. The dark green's where that severe risk does begin, though. That's where we have that level 1 threat. And then, of course, you go into the yellow, which is the level 2 threat here, and so on. Free thanking. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate it, my friend. That is really, really, really nice of you. Thank you so much. That's greatly appreciated. Saying, Andrew, do I have to stay awake tonight? I'm not feeling good. It's really hard for me to stay awake. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully you feel better soon. Let me bring up your zip code here, and let me check and see if you are good to go. Let's see. All right, so yep, you're in Georgia. Oh, that's right. Okay, so let's hop over to models here. I'll show you what the latest models do suggest here. So, um, first of all, let me actually show you what the risk you have today or for tomorrow is. We actually have a level 1 threat for severe weather for you tomorrow. Tornado wise, we're not expecting any tornadoes out by you, so you're pretty good. And you can see right here, you're actually inside, you're just outside of that tornado risk here. Now, for gusty winds, we do have that 5% chance. Can't rule out a gusty wind storm, or two nearby, but no hail. So really, the only concern would be a little bit of gusty winds, and even then, it's a pretty low end risk for you. Now, the timing of which the storms will arrive, you can see you're kind of right in here. And by the way, the time's in the bottom left here. So it looks like the main line is going to be rolling through pretty much tomorrow afternoon, according to the HRRR here. Now, of course, we could have a few showers, before then, kind of, tomorrow morning. It's possible we could have a few storms tomorrow morning. But according to the HRRR, which this could change a little bit between now and then, but it does have that main line you can see kind of rolling through relatively in the early afternoon here. It's just kind of showing right around 2 p.m. or so. But, take that lightly, the timing anyways. But I don't think it's going to be anything super significant for you. Once again, this is only a gusty wind concern for you. So I really don't think that, you're going to have too much of a significant concern whenever it comes to severe weather. So yeah, you should be pretty good. I really wouldn't worry about it too much. But once again, thank you so much for the 5. That was greatly appreciated. So thank you once again for that. That was super, super nice of you. And by the way, everybody, if y'all have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask here. Like I said, we're here to help you guys. We're here to ensure that y'all are staying weather aware and, of course, staying prepared. That's the main thing here. It's just keeping you guys, alert with everything that's going on here. But anyway, so hopping back over here to the satellite view, you guys can see right now. So we do have a little bit of convection going on this morning here. We have a little bit of severe weather going on. Like I said, we do have that one tornado warning up in Mississippi right now, which this is for Snell. So if you know anybody in Snell, Mississippi, give them a heads up. This is a radar indicated threat, meaning that the radar's picked up rotation. As of right now, no confirmation of a tornado on that storm, but like I said, confirmed or not, you should treat them the exact same. You still got to be in your shelter regardless. But for Snell, Mississippi, that is where that tornado warning is in effect here. But yeah, look at the satellite view on the main panel here. You can see we do have a bit of convection popping off, through Mississippi, through, Louisiana, Alabama here. We have a little bit of that action going on right now. And of course, if we hop back, to the models and stuff, if we progress our way, actually, we gotta go all the way back here first. But as we progress away farther down in time, later on this afternoon, you can start to see that more activity is going to fire up in like Texas, out there by Houston. We'll be getting that activity here later on this afternoon, which then is when we're going to start the live coverage. Today we're just kind of, this morning we're just kind of going over the whole risk area just to kind of let you guys know what we're in for today. And then later on this afternoon, we'll definitely be live for you guys just to kind of help you guys out. But, a lot of the activity here will be really popping off this afternoon. Now, from what it looks like, the HRRR does show maybe a little bit of snow also kind of going through like Kansas here, maybe even into Missouri with this system, kind of like a little snowstorm working its way up all the way into Michigan here too. Here for kind of tomorrow morning, you could even see. So a bit of snowfall will be expected, and ultimately that could even end up towards the northeast here. And then the way it looks like, there could even be some heavier squalls on the backside of that low, with that cold air mass that's working its way down. There could be some maybe some heavy snow squalls. I mean, look at this one that goes through like Louisville here. You can't take this one precisely, but definitely is really interesting. So we'll need to look out there for the winter weather side of things too. And which, if I just play this in motion so you guys can kind of see how the whole system is, looking right now, I'll play that for a second so you guys can kind of see it. Also, let me just bring up my pen so I can kind of like draw on the screen and stuff like that. Maybe, hopefully it'll work. Yeah, I need to restart the program, unfortunately. Oh, there we go. Now it's working, actually. All right, so there we go. So, yeah, we have a lot of the, at least I thought it was working. Uh-oh. I think I broke my, my program here. There we go. Okay, now I got out of it. Yeah, let me just restart that real quickly. Let's just, go here. Exit the pin. Yeah, this thing loves to cut out on me. It's done it so many times. Let's see here. You're welcome, free thinking, no problem. Let's see here. What about Mississippi? This is green. I got you. Here, let me pull it up for you real quickly. All right, so you, my friend. Okay, yeah. So you're actually in kind of the heaviest risk here today, for the severe weather. So if we hop on back over here, you're kind of in this area here. So for today, given the risk that we do have ourselves a level 2 slight risk here, for severe weather. So we got to look out for that. We do have a 5% chance for tornadoes. Now, what that means is essentially within a 25-mile radius of a given area. So your area, for example. So within a 25-mile radius around you, there is a 5% chance of a tornado dropping within that radius. So odds are pretty low, obviously, of you getting a tornado. The good news is that we're not expecting significant tornadoes today. So the tornadoes that we potentially could get today would likely be on the lower EF scale. They wouldn't likely be anything significant, simply because the kinematics, the instability doesn't mix enough, or it's not as significant enough, I should say, to really become a significant tornado threat here, at least from what the SPC has as of right now. If they think that it becomes a concern, or greater concern, I should say, later on, then maybe they'll do something. But I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying, if they think it does. But for now, you're not in a significant tornado threat. But, still need to look out there for potentially a couple of nearby tornadoes. Now, we do actually have a 15% wind risk. So this is a greater probability for damaging winds. So on this line of storms, we could have possibly some gusty winds upwards of 60 miles an hour. Some rough cases we could have maybe 70 here and there, but mostly gusty winds upwards of 60 miles an hour will be possible for today. And then lastly, in terms of hail, we do actually have a 5% chance out there for hail. So potentially could see some hail between 1 and 2 inches in diameter for today. Matter of fact, they actually increased the risk here, for western Louisiana and eastern Texas here. We're actually now in a 15% risk here for today. So yesterday, whenever we went over the risk and everything like that, we were at a what was it? Was it 5? Yeah, I think it was a 5% chance here. And today, now we're actually at a 15. So they've increased the hail threat here overall. So, anyways, hopefully that helps out, my friend. Let's see. Good morning. Oh, wow. Oklahoma got nailed yesterday, but yes, they did. I was actually happy we were there to be able to cover that. Kind of makes me wonder what springtime is in store for everyone. Yeah, for sure. It's going to be quite interesting, to say the least. But hope you're doing good, my friend. Good to see you. What's up, Overbuilt? Hope you are doing good. But anyway, so yeah, this is what the main system looks like. Like I said, we have a bit of severe weather, even a bit of winter weather on the way here, too. I mean, if we hop our way over here, up towards the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, you can see as we approach our way into tomorrow, we're going to have quite a bit of winter weather going on over here. I wonder actually if the SPC, or sorry, not SPC, the NWS has anything on that. We have wind advisories. We have, honestly, there's no really winter storm warnings or anything like that in effect here from what it looks like, which is interesting. We do actually have some for Kansas, though. Got a little bit of winter storm warnings here in the pink polygons, and got some winter weather advisories kind of in the purple. So, like I said, it's not just a severe weather side of things here. So, let's see here. By the way, my name is Cheryl, and I'm from Texas. Well, hello. I'm sorry. I was going off of the usernames. I didn't really know how to say your name, so I apologize. See, thanks very much. I'm not as worried. Good. Glad to hear it. Let's see. When are the storms supposed to begin today? Good question. So they're actually already popping off here now. It's just the threat's going to continue throughout the evening. I think the peak of it's going to be later this evening into tomorrow morning, actually. But they're actually going on right now. If we hop back over here to the main scene here, actually, you know what? We're going to actually bring it over here to the main radar. We did actually just have a tornado warning. By the way, they just canceled it, by the way, y'all. So this is the one that was in Mississippi. They did drop that tornado warning. This was for Snell, Mississippi. That is no longer in effect here. But you can see the storms. I mean, they're already starting to fire off here. Not really severe at the moment. I mean, the only severe one just got canceled, so that's good. But that just goes to show you, though, that the environment's already capable of producing severe storms. So we're already actively in the risk area, in the risk timing, I should say. But like the models are suggesting here, we'll bring you guys back over here. As we work our way down in time, of course we're having a little bit of severe weather going on now. Later on this afternoon, that's going to increase. We're going to start to see more waves of storms come through. More potential severe weather, and that'll continue. Not just today, throughout the afternoon and the evening, but also into the overnight hours as well. So, it's going to be pretty active between now and tomorrow morning. So, definitely got to keep an eye out there for that. And, if you guys are just tuning in here, and if you're wondering where all this is going on at, so here's actually the risk area here from the Storm Prediction Center. So this is where, all the severe weather is expected to be in today. So we have a couple of shades here. We have a light green, we have a dark green, and we have a yellow. So the light green just says, hey, okay, we might have a couple storms, not anything severe, nothing damaging is expected. Okay, so the light green area here, nothing really too crazy. However, whenever you start to go into the dark green, this is the level 1 risk for severe weather. So this is where we could have a couple of isolated severe thunderstorms. Given today's risk, a couple of tornadoes, a couple of gusty winds, and maybe some hail could be possible in some of these areas here. Now, the main threat is obviously where the yellow is. This is that level 2 severe weather threat. Like I said, the scale goes from 1 to 5. We're at a level 2 for today, which, like I said, no matter what level you're on, even if you're in a level 1, it's still an active risk for severe weather and damaging storms. And given that we actually have a pretty large level 2, I mean, this covers a pretty good distance, you can see. I mean, this covers literally almost the entire state of Louisiana. Also eastern Texas here. I mean, it covers a lot of Mississippi here too, and even into a really good chunk of Alabama as well. So, between Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, and Alabama, we do have a pretty good sized level 2 threat here for today. So, got to look out there for that. And of course, like I said, the exact probability on things, here's our tornado percentage. The brown areas here indicates a 5% chance for tornadoes. So basically the way that works is every 25 miles of a given area, like say you live in Jackson for an example. So within a 25-mile radius around you, there is a 5% chance of a tornado dropping within that radius there. Now for the green areas here, this is where you have that, that 2% chance. This is where we could see, maybe just a little bit of a lower chance for tornadoes overall. The tornado threat still exists, but it's a lower probability. It's less likely per se, but still in that risk area. Now, in terms of damaging winds here, moving on here, so we have the yellow and then we have the brown. The brown indicates a 5% chance for damaging wind gusts here, which we could see some gusts upwards of 60, maybe 70 miles an hour in terms of gusts, what peak winds could get up to within the storm. And of course, the yellow, which is the greatest area here, we do have ourselves a, 15% chance here in the yellow. So got to look out there for that too. That's where the main risk is for damaging winds is. And then, of course, lastly, for the hail threat, they did increase the risk here since yesterday. We are now at a 15% hail risk for eastern Texas. This is north of Houston, by the way, where the 15% risk is, which also cuts into central Louisiana, too. Now, Houston's actually in the 5% hail risk here, which is what the brown makes up here. So, once again, that just means that within a 25-mile radius around Houston, or just anywhere in the brown, there is a 5% chance of seeing hail between 1 to 2 inches in diameter. So that's basically, that's just basically how all that works here. Anyways, let's see here. Gary, thank you for subscribing, by the way. I appreciate it, my friend. That is much, much appreciated. So, anyways, hopping back to radar here. Like I said, we have a little bit of storm activity already brewing. They did just cancel that one warning for Mississippi, for Snell. Snell was under that tornado warning here just a few moments ago. They are no longer under it, which is good. So right now we have an active, we have no severe thunderstorm warnings, no tornado warnings here, which is good. But as the day progresses, that number will likely increase quite a bit. And, like I said, I really just wanted to go live here for now, just to kind of give you guys an update on, what's going on, and just to kind of give you guys, an overview of everything, just to, keep you guys weather aware and stuff. And like I said, we're going to be live a lot today. I took today off to be sure to be here with you guys. So, we'll be doing live streams, of course, now, with the update here. And then, of course, later on this evening, I'll probably stream the overnight coverage, I'm thinking, or I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'll probably stream this afternoon, actually. We'll probably just do an afternoon stream throughout the evening because my sleep schedule is actually pretty normal right now. I go to bed fairly early, so I'm just going to go do the afternoon coverage here with you guys. What's up, David? Good to see you, dude. Saying hello, Andrew. How has it? Or hold on. Hello, Andrew. How you been? How's Liberty, Mississippi looking today? I'm doing pretty good, my friend. Good to see you as well. So Liberty, Mississippi is here. Let's hop back over here. So here's Liberty right here. You are in a level 2 threat today for severe weather. So you're actually in that slight risk here. So the probability for tornadoes, we have a 5% chance. So, within a 25-mile radius around you, 5% chance of a tornado somewhere within that radius. So, got to keep it out there for that. The odds are pretty low, but, just need to keep an eye on the weather today. We do have a 15% wind threat here as well. And believe it or not, you can actually see here, we also do have a flood watch. I want to let you know about that as well. So look out for that as well. So not only is, that tornado threat, the wind threat, and I don't think, okay, yeah, we do actually have a 5% hail threat for today for you too. But yeah, between all three of that, we also do have the flood watch here in effect as well. So keep that in mind. Let's see, widespread 2 to 4 inches of rain is expected to fall within the watch time frame with localized amounts possibly around 6 inches. Yeah, so keep it out there for that, okay? But other than that, I mean, yeah, we do need you to be actively watching the weather here for today. There is that threat for tornadoes, damaging winds, and hail. And of course, we do have that flooding threat there as well. You're welcome, David. No problem. What's up, Jay Ross? Good to see you. Saying thank you for the coverage, Andrew. You're very welcome. Of course. How is Chattanooga looking later? Just wind and such. Well, let me look. Let's see here. So for Chattanooga, today we actually don't have a risk for severe weather or anything. We do have a general thunderstorm risk for today. So a couple of booms of thunder is possible. Now, tomorrow, we actually do have a marginal risk, which is a level 1 severe weather threat. You're just outside of that tornado risk, so we're not expecting any tornadic activity. We do have a 5% chance for gusty winds. Some damaging wind gusts can't be ruled out per se. It's a pretty low probability. And then lastly, hail. Tomorrow there is no hail threat at all, so you're not really in a risk for hail. Yeah, but yeah, really the main thing is just a little bit of gusty winds could be possible. So we'll look out there for that. Anyways, so yeah, just a little bit of gusty winds and everything. Now, the time frame, I'm sure you're probably wondering when all this madness is going to occur. It's just, honestly, it's just kind of a big blob of storms. You can just see it's just kind of storm after storm, and it's not really set time for when, one specific storm will happen. It's just kind of all going throughout, later on this afternoon, this evening, and whatnot. So yeah, it's just going to be raining quite a bit. And honestly, I do want to bring up the rainfall amount here because I'm really curious to see what that accumulates to. Let's do total precipitation here. Yeah, so it looks like your area, according to HRRR, could pick up a couple of inches of rainfall, which is quite a bit. I mean, we're definitely seeing a lot of rain for the south here, especially out by Mississippi here. I mean, look at that. We're talking maybe in the realm of 6 to 8 inches, which is kind of what that watch said. That flood watch we just looked at a minute ago down south, they said 3 to 6 inches possible. Wouldn't even be surprised if we had some locally higher amounts, maybe even. So yeah, flooding is also one of the things we got to look out for, especially for the south here. We're definitely going to be getting quite a bit of rain down here. So it's crazy just how much rain will accumulate from a quick little thunderstorm. It's crazy. Some of these storms have a really high rainfall rate, which can really flood places pretty quickly. But anyways, Jay Ross, hopefully that helps, dude. And if there is anything else that you want me to go over, or if there's anything specific, let me know. Actually, something I am going to do right now, though. Here, let me bring this up here. Actually, we're going to go over the winds here with you guys, too. Let's do surface. We'll do accumulated max wind gusts here. So this is basically how much winds, the maximum winds here that we could possibly see. So this is from this storm here. So this does not count as the thunderstorm wind gusts. I know this is kind of hard to for me to explain. So basically, this does not come from the damaging winds in which these storms could produce. This comes from just the straight up winds from the low pressure system rolling through, if that makes sense. Not from the thunderstorms themselves, but just from the system in general. Hopefully you guys can understand that. But anyways, so we could be seeing, good maybe 20, 30, some areas even like 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts here. Of course, like I said, the damaging or the storms today could be producing damaging winds upwards of 60 or greater. But like I said, just general winds could be gusting upwards of 20 to 30 in some spots here. So also up there by like the upper elevations of North Carolina here. I mean, it looks like we really could have some pretty strong wind gusts. Even the Ohio Valley looks to be really windy here. So with this system rolling through, I'm sure it actually looks like a lot of that's going on right now. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are currently pretty windy out there by the Ohio Valley here. But definitely could be a little bit windy here. That is for sure. Also looks like Texas is getting ready to get a pretty good sweep of some pretty windy conditions out there. So anyways, but if you guys have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. Like I said, we're here for you guys, and we'll be sure to keep you guys in the loop with everything. And, like I said, we're going to actually stream later on today, too. We'll be going live probably, I'm thinking, maybe around 3 p.m. Eastern. That way I can do some coverage and stuff like that with y'all. That's the plan, because I do want to be here to, to do that and everything. But if you guys have any questions or anything right now, before we kind of call it an update stream here, do not hesitate to ask. Like I said, we'll be here to, take zip code forecast or anything like that if you guys have any areas that you want me to look at or whatever. Like I said, we're here for y'all. But anyways, so like I said here, not too long ago, we did just lose that tornado warning that we had in effect for Mississippi. That is no longer in effect here. That was for Snell. They did cancel that warning, so that's no longer there. And right now, that leaves us with 0 severe thunderstorm warnings and 0 tornado warnings. So that's definitely pretty good. But like I said, later on, as the time progresses, as we go throughout the the afternoon and the evening here for today, and even overnight, those will probably be increasing quite a bit. What time did I say I was going to go live again tonight? So I'll probably go live around 3 p.m. Eastern time. So that's 2 Central. That'll be 1 Mountain and 12 Pacific time. So we'll be sure to hop back on here to do some coverage with you guys. Yeah. Like I said, this stream was kind of me just doing a bit of an update here with you guys. But, like I said, you guys, if y'all have any more questions, any comments or anything like that, feel free to let us know before we roll off here. Just wanted to come on here for a little bit. But yeah, we'll be back around 3 p.m. Eastern. Anyways, but yeah, so on top of all of the thunderstorm activity, like we said, tornadoes, damaging winds, hail threat, we also do have that flooding threat here as well, which, a lot of Mississippi is, really a lot of south, central, kind of southern Mississippi is going to be dealing with a lot of, heavy rain and stuff like that, which could lead to a lot of flooding and everything, so. And, like I said, we're going to be seeing possibly around, 3 to 6 inches of rain or so, which we could see some locally higher amounts possible. So definitely got to keep an eye out there for that. And like I said, even the winter weather side of thing here too, here, let me bring up this here. We'll bring up the GFS here. We'll go to model, we'll do precipitation. Let's do snowfall accumulations here. So we're going to be getting a little bit of snow out of this event here. Actually, we're going to be dealing with a little bit out there by Kansas with the storm here. Also, we have like southeastern Colorado could pick up a couple of inches for sure. Even by like the Great Lakes region, like northern Michigan could see several inches. you saw a moderate risk for tornadoes on NOAA. The SPC does not have a moderate risk at all for tornadoes. It's a slight risk here. So I'll go ahead and show you. So this is the current SPC outlook. You can see maximum risk. We have a slight risk, which is a level 2 threat. Tornado probability for today is a 5% chance. I don't know where you saw the moderate risk, but that does not mean moderate risk from SPC. No, it's just a level 2 slight risk for today. What's up, Bingsy? Good to see ya. Saying, hey, Andrew, hope you're having a good day, brother. Yeah, you too, dude. You too. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. But anyways, y'all. But all right, everybody. Well, I think that's gonna go ahead and wrap up the update here. Like I said, we'll be back here later on this afternoon. We'll be live around 3 o'clock, so we'll be sure to hop in here and do some more updates here with you guys. But if you guys did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button. It'd be greatly appreciated. And I just want to go ahead and say, everybody, thank you all so much for all the kind love and support. We love you guys. I really, really appreciate it. But yeah, we'll be back later. Later on. Kind of stumble with my words here. We'll be back later on, you guys. I just want to go ahead and say once again, everybody, thank you all for everything. Really, really appreciate it. But all right, everybody, thanks so much for joining. We'll see you guys here later on. Peace out, my friends. See ya in the next one.